Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode right here on Revv Evolution's Revv Inspiration. And before we go any further, I want to wish all the women out there a very happy International Women's Day. Okay, and in line with a very special day that we're celebrating, we thought that Revv will do a subject which is related to women. And the topic that we're going to do is the top challenges concerning women and technology. And joining us in today's discussion is a person who knows the subject a lot more than I do. We have Patricia Mulles, who is a marketing and digital transformation consultant and entrepreneur with over 22 years plus experience in media and technology. Pat is a passionate advocate for inclusion, sustainability, and lifelong learning, and serves as the She Loves Data's Director and Global Head of Partnerships. But to tell you more about herself is Pat herself. Patricia, thank you so much once again for joining us right here on Revv.
Thank you so much, Renee, for having me. This is really cool. So, like you mentioned, I've been a entrepreneur and marketer for the better part of 25 years, and I'm super passionate about helping organizations and individuals grow and transform. And my favorite tools for using this are data and what I call perspective changing, perspective shifting insights.
Right.
As the director and global head of partnerships for She Loves Data, I help put together programs and partnerships so that we can deliver on our promise. And that's our mission of ensuring that we have more women becoming co-drivers of the future. So this is a really apt metaphor
exactly.
for that.
Especially when we're in the car.
Exactly.
And I have to totally agree with you with the digital economy. Everything is about it's in a really mad pace that's going on right here in the world, and and I think the challenges that to be fair, it's not only women face but men face as well. But I think it's more greater on the fact that you said it's a lot of challenges that women are facing, which is the reason why we decided to do this topic. So it's International Women's Day, and how would you basically celebrate International Women's Day?
Well, personally, and as an organization at She Loves Data, we celebrate International Women's Day every single day. We have about 160 volunteers globally in 18 countries. And every day, for those of us who contribute to this initiative, we focus on three essential gaps. So first gap, what we call the skills gap or the competence gap.
Right.
Second would be the confidence gap, because women, we like to put ourselves last.
Right.
The third gap would be the leadership gap. And this is because, Renee, even to this day, we have only 20% of women leading as board members and C-levels.
Really?
And we have to change. Yes,
Really?
we have to
Only
change
20%?
that.
Seriously?
After a century, I mean,
Right.
things haven't changed, and it must.
Yeah, I'm expecting a bigger number than 20%, to be honest.
Well, it's bigger in some countries,
Right.
like unexpectedly, like China.
Right, China. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's a big number.
in the tech space.
All right, so my next question would be, speaking of leadership, as you mentioned, what are your thoughts about women in leadership?
Well, there simply should be more of us at the top.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I love working for women, to be honest. Like, guys, okay. And sorry.
We need more seats at the table, to co-drive this so-called future. And this is one reason why at She Loves Data we have mentorship programs and initiatives like what we have a Courage Council, which is a yearly gathering of C-levels.
Right.
And the mandate is for us to approach the issue of not having enough women by widening and lengthening the leadership pipeline for women. And our approach is always ecosystem based. So we get them together to not just talk about it, but to actually walk the walk.
Right.
And come up with solutions that they will be accountable for. We present this every year at a CDAO conference.
Right.
And measure the results.
Okay, so when you mentioned you do have conferences and everything, is this basically for only Asia Pacific, or is it a global conference where you get women leaders from all over the world coming in to join you guys for this conference?
So we present the annual paper.
Right.
It's meant for a global audience, but
Oh, yeah. Okay.
the CDAO organizers, CDAO conference here in Singapore, have kindly given us a platform to
Oh, that's
do
nice.
it in person there.
That's
But of
great.
course, it's always propagated online, and that's really lovely.
Right. Okay. And I think the next topic is going to be something that a lot of women would definitely want to be interested to find out your views on. So, what are the top challenges concerning women and technology, and what is the one thing you would like to change about the digital economy of today?
Well, it's very obvious that digital technologies are transforming lives, and we simply are struggling to cope. I mean, just look at the latest spate of layoffs, for example, in tech,
Right.
right? Um, so one of the things that I want to talk about is the fact that the half life of a tech skill nowadays, really,
Yep.
is 4.5 years.
Yeah.
That means by the time you graduate college, if
Right.
you're tech focused, whatever you've learned will have been obsolete, right? And so, what we want to do more than that is actually, I think, we need to focus on ways to uh, get people ready for this constant change and upheaval. And it's literally something that we cannot afford. The World Economic Forum said that if we do not involve women, because we can't just leave tech to the men, right? What we need to do is change antiquated ways or mindsets
Right.
of or mental models
Okay.
of thinking about how people work together. And like I said, uh, the World Economic Forum has actually said we are losing 35% of GDP, of worldwide GDP. That's 33
Wow, that's
trillion
huge.
US
Wow,
dollars.
that's a huge amount of money.
Yeah, 33 trillion US dollars if we do not have another perspective from the women.
Okay.
So to summarize everything, we simply must have more women contributing in order to progress.
Right. And the whole thing about, I mean, I'm being from also a technology background myself. I mean, what you said about technology being like having a shelf life of about 4.5 years before things start to. I think I would honestly thought it was actually a shorter lifespan, because the way technology moves nowadays, it's you get so much new technologies being introduced, and I think it's sometimes it really it's really head spinning in the sense that you got to keep up every time when you learn something, then something else new comes up, and it's really a constant I wouldn't say battle, but it's really a constant catch up game that you have to play in terms of catching up with the technologies. And it's really not easy sometimes when you have to juggle so many things with you have a personal life and then your work life and then everything coming in at the same time. So honestly, yeah, I believe that it is not easy to do. And now let's talk about my next question. How can we take an active role in creating fairer opportunities for pools of women? And more importantly, why should we think about these things in the first place?
It's two things. One is women actually need to be encouraged to upskill themselves,
Right.
and this is where She Loves Data excels. We provide free uh, upskilling certification programs such as She Loves Data times Digital, where we help women uh, keep abreast of the fundamentals in marketing. And supporters like Meta, the leaders in this space, are there to help us. The second thing is we should also, as a community, as corporations,
Right.
keep an environment where women will thrive.
Oh,
Because my point is, women's women's place, it's not just in the kitchen, it's not just at home.
Yeah.
We really need women to be in the front seat, like right now,
Right.
co-driving the future.
Right. And I mean, to be honest, I totally agree with you, because I see it for myself that a lot of women really don't have. It's not like in the olden days where the famous quote from everybody would be, "Oh, the woman's place is at home." Really, it's a different day and age. Women have are so very independent. And to be honest, I think a lot of women don't really need men in their lives right now because they're so happy with the way things are going, and it's all about being independent, and it's you know, it's like, it's just a whole new different space that we are living in. Well, with that, I think I want to say a very big Revv thank you to Patricia for joining us right here on Revv's Inspiration and giving us her valuable thoughts and insights on the challenges of women and the digital economy. And to find out more about Revv, whether it's on our Inspiration series or maybe even if it's on our Motoring and Culture and the rest of the video series, do remember to like, subscribe, and watch more videos coming your way. On behalf of myself, Renee, and Pat, we want to say a big thank you for joining us right here